Aloha, Natashi Delay from Quiet Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center. Here on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. We present this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8, and Zoom it on the web worldwide for our students around the planet. Raja brothers and sisters. I'm Lama Tashi. When we present this program, it's so that you have better understanding not only of your own predicament, and we all have that, but also to understand the other nature of your consciousness and how to use it. And when we do that, we have many texts and writings by many lamas and teachings on the internet and Dharma centers everywhere. But one of the main guides that we use is this story of all of us simply said by my teacher, Lama Rinchen. And this was put out by one of his students, Phil Ducher, and then redone by another one of my students and put on Amazon. So you can order it either through Kagyu Theg Cheg Ling Dharma Center in Honolulu or through Amazon. When we refer to this text, the story of all of us simply said, it's actually a guide for one to quickly progress from the ordinary mind, we call the relative nature, into the ultimate nature of awareness itself. And everybody asks, what's awareness? Well, all sentient beings have awareness, awareness of themselves, and awareness of what they say, and awareness of what they do. But those are actually, for sentient beings, split up. And that split is what causes people not to understand their ultimate state of awareness. So I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Then I'm going to read Lama Rinchen's little excerpt from the story of all of them. Exactly what it is being present. And by that I mean being able to focus your mind in the situation in this moment, which is constantly changing. So as soon as your mind reaches the present, then the ordinary tendencies, natural tendencies, is to follow the thoughts either to the past or to the future, both of which don't exist. As soon as you think a thought, it's in the past. As soon as you say something, it's in the past. As soon as you do something, it's in the past. So the past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. And the present, because of the constantly changing nature of your relative mind, can't be found. But you can connect to it with Dharma practice of meditation. So I'm going to read about awareness, which ultimate awareness is actually called your Buddha nature, or your natural state. On page 67, Lama Rinchen says, all of us have the ability to understand pure awareness, but we have to have the full and deep experience to comprehend the profound depths and its use. In our ordinary worldly mental state, our thoughts are blowing us about, and our habits and tendencies also. Because of this restlessness and the instability of the discursive mind, called the relative nature, one cannot understand the profound pure awareness, and when practicing, we find it's not an easy thing to do. When we are trying to realize this state of pure awareness, We need to have a look for something in the mind, but we shouldn't spend our time searching in the mind for it, as whatever we find in the mind, we should just leave it alone and stay with what we are observing in a natural way. It is something like this, focusing on the thoughts. Here comes the thought. There it is. And there it goes. But when it goes, don't follow it. That's being present. And that's Dharma practice. When we don't search for any qualities in this state, we don't elaborate or label anything within it. We just let it go without following it. In that way, we stay in the natural state of awareness. When we're able to do just a little bit of this, we will find a little bit of pure awareness. When we have become aware of this awareness, we reach this state called Mahamudra awareness. We can look at an object, and in that way, we're only aware of the emptiness of the object and all phenomena. There is no need to describe it, characterize it, or label it. It is only when we have strong awareness of thoughts arising and then disappearing that we gain this step forward towards pure awareness. And this is accomplished in our meditation practice. Then we develop some experience. We can carry it outside of the formal practice through our worldly daily experiences. Whether we are meditating or just doing ordinary daily things, the training is to not follow or develop the thoughts that arise. Just let them go. That is the training of meditation and the accomplishment of the state of pure awareness. And it is called awareness of awareness. Dzogchen, Mahamudra, the great perfection, or Madhyamika. Each Tibetan Buddhist tradition has their own special name for it. And somehow, some way, over 2,600 years, the word Buddha developed. But Buddha is simply being present in a state of pure awareness. And if you can do that in the human condition, then you are a mature human being. And there's nothing beyond that. So this book is very valuable as a guide to people that are interested in accomplishing this in this lifetime. And the benefits of it are unfathomable, infinite. In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, the lamas have guided us with many mind training exercises. For instance, the 3 lights meditation and the 5 elements practice for aiding in the healing of your body, but also in connecting to pure states of awareness through the elements which make your body, and are everything in the universe is made of these 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. In practice, we move from what we call these basic meditations, using the breath or developing our imagination while meditating in the practice of meditation, we connect to what the Lamas call motivation. Now, all religious traditions have meditation, but none of them have the motivation that the purpose of doing that is for the benefit of all sentient beings, and not only that, to bring them to understand this pure state and how to use it to liberate themselves from what? The emotional dependence on the idea of the self and the emotional dependence on the body and the world around it. It's simple as that. So I'm going to read the altruistic motivation. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves, and enlightenment is defined as pure awareness, and limitless sentient beings, which are all the animals, humans, and spirits in the entire universe, we think of them as our mothers, and now, all together with these sentient beings, we think to take refuge and offer all practices as what is called puja. And in the path of skillful means, which is the sutra and tantric traditions taught by the Buddhas, prostrations with the refuge prayer is a foundation practice to strengthen not only your body, speech, and mind, but to strengthen your connection and use of the deities, which in the class tonight will be Chenrezig and the White Mahakala, which is Chenrezig in action. I'm going to chant this motivation in Sanskrit because the spirits who are in and around us in everything will then want to take part in the practice with you and aid you in developing and evolving into states of pure awareness. Kandro nombe tadang yampe samchen tamche dudine junte jisi jangchu ningpo lachi pi bardu. In the refuge prayer, which I mentioned to do while you're doing prostrations with the guidance of your Lama, how to do it perfectly, goes like this. We all go for refuge to the Holy Lama. We all go for refuge to the Yidams, which are the deities gathered in our mandala practices. We all go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered their mind and gone beyond. We all go for refuge to this supreme Dharma. We all go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we all go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the protectors and defenders of the Dharma, all of which possess the eye of transcending awareness. Now, the key word here is we. And by using the word all, that includes every sentient being in the universe that exists now and ever has existed and will exist in the future. And that is a state of infinite proportion. And that infiniteness is our potential in the use of pure states of awareness, which by their very nature help one to develop higher states of intelligence which is very useful while you're in the human condition. Now, the Sanskrit, Pali, or Indian refuge prayer goes like this. Valden Lama Dampa Nam La Chapsu Chiyo Yidam Shokor Ki Lacho Nam La Chapsu Chiyo Sanjay Chom Dende Nam La Chapsu Chiyo Yampe Chur Nam La Chapsu Chiyo Tape Gandu Nam La Chapsu Chiyo Tawo Kandro Chokyo Sume Sho Yishiki Shendam Tempa Nam La Chapsu Chiyo. And that little Nam La Chapsu Chiyo added to each one of the 6 refuges is the we all together take the lamas, deities, and protectors as our refuge. We all together take the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha as our refuge. The refuge prayer itself, when doing prostrations with the guidance of the Lama, is one of the highest yogas of quick accomplishment of bringing your body, speech together in a state of pure awareness. All the other practices of deity yogas, peaceful and protector and Dakini deity, are based on that one practice. And it is the first of what is called the preliminary practices of the Nungdro, or foundation practices, which support all of the Tibetan mandala practice of the deity. The next step is to do or practice the 6 bodhisattva disciplines called the 6 perfections. And the prayer for that goes like this. Through the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and this Supreme Assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing the 6 perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So that's the practice and motivation of Bodhisattva training, which brings us quickly to realize our true nature and how to use it. And in Tibetan, Sanjay Chodam Chopi Chodam La Jangchu Bardu Dagni Chapsu Shik Nagi Junzo Jipe Sonam Pi Chola Benjer Sanjay Rupa Sho. Now you can say it, chant it however you want. That chant that I just used is how I was taught to chant the Chenrezig practice in Tibetan. And because it was in the Chenrezig practice, then I learned that method of chanting. So you have the altruistic motivation, which makes Tibetan Buddhist practice unique. In Buddhism, extremely unique. All Buddhists take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The Buddha that started the teachings 2,600 years ago, the people who give his teachings called the Sangha, and the people who practice those teachings. Of what? The Dharma. The Dharma is words of advice, words of intention, and words of what is to be accomplished. And that hasn't changed in the last 2,600 years. But what has changed is the evolution of the Tibetan tradition, which was taught by the same Buddha under the guise or reincarnation of Padmasambhava to the people of Tibet, Mongolia, Eastern China, and what is now called Western Russia. But in doing that, it caused it to proliferate. And that same unchanging set of methods taught by the Buddha Shakyamuni was then developed into what is called highest Tantra Yoga. And this started in the 6th, 7th, and 8th century. And then for the next 1,000 years, developed into the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism in Tibet and these other countries. But it also permeated all the way from Afghanistan, Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, and Bhutan, which are connecting all the Himalayan countries. And our teachers here in Tibet come from those countries.
Here in the US, you mean?
Hmm?
Our teachers here.
Here in Hawaii. Thank you. And we have Dharma centers, Maui, Kauai, Big Island. And each one of those lamas is from a different part of the Himalayan region or from Tibet. And their guidance is the same that they perform in Tibet and those countries I just named. But what are the 6 Bodhisattva disciplines, which I give the title of Bodhisattva Training School? And when we move into Bodhisattva Training School, you have to know these 6 disciplines. You're already doing them on the relative level to some degree. Generosity, number 1. Morality, ethics, and good manners. Those 3 are number 2. Patience, number 3. Diligence or perseverance in those 3, plus the 5th one, meditative accomplishment, with the guidance of a Lama, using the imagination by accomplishing states of peace and tranquility, and from that level moving into pure states of awareness, called insight. That's number 6. Pure awareness is called insight. But insight means you can't find it outside. And so the first 5 are to get you used to being connecting to what you think, which is your storyline going on all the time of lies you're telling yourself based on this thinking. And they're not true. And they get you into so much trouble and propel you into states of situation that you'd rather not be in. And that's painful. That's called samsara. And the unwholesomeness of samsara is obvious on this planet today. All you have to do is look at the news. Global. 7, 8 billion humans in dire straits. Animal world, dire straits. And the spirit world, totally riled because of the way we have damaged our planet. This is the antidote to some way rectify what's been going on in the human condition for a long time. And for some of us, the results are, as I said before, liberation, freedom, understanding ultimate states of truth. And the very basis of that is the same as a mother for her only child. It's called loving kindness. Developing that holistically, not just for yourself, but for everybody you have karma with, friends, relatives, lovers, pets, so forth, but the worldly environment around you. And then, before we start our practice, understanding that pure awareness has 6 applications, 6 facets. It's called the diamond of the Dharma. Number 1, everything in this universe and everyone on this planet, for instance, is your support. Number 2, you must practice the 6 bodhisattva disciplines if you want to develop pure awareness. Number 3 is patience in doing that. Number 4 is the diligence in doing that, especially with meditation, which we're about to start. And then relaxing and letting it happen. That is Bodhisattva training school. So now we'll start having the altruistic motivation, having established all the supports of the 3 jewels and the 3 roots, and now starting the practice of meditative focus using the imagination, connecting to the breath, but understanding that, yes, it's relatively being applied, but it is also being applied because your wisdom nature is innate. We all have it, but it can only be developed in the human condition, and this is the way to go, to do it. Back straight, hands in a comfortable position, on your knees or in your lap, head slightly tilted forward, mouth closed. If you can, breathe through your nose. Eyes, half close them and gaze to the space and light 2 feet in front of you. Because this is both the relative and ultimate reality. And by doing that, what comes in your eyes affects everything. When meditating, relax and focus on your breath. Use the imagination to imagine the air, which is the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. which is the mother principle of everything, is coming into your lungs as white light. The middle absorption breath, which is spontaneous, is passing the 5-element energy program through every cell in your body as red light. Think that, it's flashing through your body. Take these two codes of the white and red and exhale blue light out your space as the ultimate healing breath available to every sentient being, everywhere, like the sky. Again, inhale white light, fill your lungs. The middle breath, absorption breath, red light flashing through your body. These two together create the blue light energy of healing to space, to the sky. That's the nature of my mind, of our mind. All encompassing awareness. When you can do these three lights, breathing in this relaxed position, count 7 or 21 of these breaths to start the 5 elements meditation practice or prepare. So do that now. We'll do 7 breaths. Inhale. On the 7th breath, take your focus off the breath, collect the 3 lights into a tiny particle of light, and imagine it to be centered in your chest, creating a chakra, an energy chakra center called a bindu, or in Sanskrit, or in Tibetan, a tigli. And at that moment, think of it as being in the central channel of your life force, which runs from the top of your head to the perineum at the bottom of your torso. The moment you do that, that light point connects to the infinite light of space. There is no such thing as separation. For a few moments, enjoy that basic mother principle of space. Then again, focusing on that point of light. Imagine it to grow into a small sphere of clear light, about the size of your thumbnail. Focusing on that sphere, imagine it to grow into the symbol of one of the 5 elements. Tonight we're going to use the element of fire. And the symbol is a 4-sided red pyramid about the size of your thumbnail, labeled fire, made of light in the center of your heart chakra. Once you can see it clearly there, bring that small red pyramid out in front of your chest and up in front of your eyes where the gaze was locked to start the meditation. 2 feet in front. Then from that point, imagine the pyramid to grow in size of a large room that you can see your physical body just as you are inside. Standing, sitting, laying down, moving. By doing this, the psychic energy of your imagination is embedding in your physical form healing energy. Then using this red symbol of the pyramid, or side with the base, we're going to share it by imagining it to grow in size to completely enclose an area 50 miles in diameter. For instance, here on Kauai, we imagine the island of Kauai and some of the surrounding ocean inside the pyramid of fire. A better word is radiation. Then we visualize it to grow in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. And imagine it to grow in size to completely enclose our solar system. The next step is to visualize it enclosing our spiral dish-shaped galaxy. And then move beyond the boundaries of conceptual mind and imagine it to blend with boundless space. So that the light energy of your imagination permeates everything, everyone throughout space. Then bring this healing symbol again to complete into your imagination, visualizing it to enclose the galaxy. Shrink it in size to just enclosing the solar system. Smaller and smaller to just enclose Mother Earth. Tinier and tinier just to enclose a large area where you are practicing. City, town, island, whatever. Condense all of that healing energy into the red sphere enclosing your body. Some of us experience heat or warmth when enclosed with this red pyramid. Also, desire because of the geometric shape of it and its color code red. Without any judgment, finish the practice by shrinking the size of the pyramid to its original small size, 2 feet in front of our eyes. Then to chest level and into your heart chakra. Then shrink it to the tiny point of light and rest in boundless space. Without the need to define or judge anything, just relax and be present in space. Physical sensations arise, don't judge them. Thoughts arise, don't follow them. Relax. All the tribes of the planet have used the 5 elements to survive up until this industrial age. And this healing practice was actually discovered in China by Kuan Yin as a healing practice for spiritual accomplishment, not just for physical and mental healing. The awareness that you've developed through this practice, give it dedicated to the benefit of all beings. This is part of Bodhisattva training in these spiritual practices. Then we move with the guidance of our teachers into the Sutra and Tantric traditions. In Tibetan Buddhism, you start with the practice of Chenrezig, the Bodhisattva of infinite compassion. With loving kindness as the nature of the deity, like a mother's unconditional love for her only child. With that basis, if you have the text or a Chenrezig text, which we copied from the original Chenrezig text from our Dharma centers with the guidance of our lamas, it's printed and bound with a black back and a white front, enclosed with a clear cover as the nature of the deity. And the purpose of that is one of the practices that we do, Tong Lins, is inhaling black light, dissolving it into clear voidness, like this cover, and exhaling white light back To go everywhere is healing energy. But in the Chenrezig practice, it starts with the altruistic motivation in the refuge and bodhicitta prayers of practice. And then it says, this Chenrezig is visualized with a white body, which is not clothed by any fault, perfectly positive, and made of light. His head is adorned by the perfect Buddha of infinite light, Amitabha. This deity looks upon all beings with the eyes of loving kindness, compassion, generating power and insight. Through this Chenrezig, Avalokiteshvara in Sanskrit, we go for refuge. Then the 7 branches of spiritual practice in our tradition is number 1, taking refuge in this deity as an embodiment of all the sons and daughters of the Buddha. And you visualize them residing in the 10 directions and 3 times as Chenrezig, and with great sincerity pay homage, take refuge. We offer flowers, incense, butter lamp, perfume, food, music, and other real and imaginary offerings, and so forth, and beseech this noble assembly to accept them. I confess all the unskillful actions caused by the power of the unstable conflicting emotions, even the 10 unvirtuous deeds and the 5 sins of limitless consequence that we have done from beginningless time until now. We rejoice in the spiritual merit of whatever virtues Sravakas, Praktikas, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and ordinary beings gather in the 3 times. We pray the Dharma wheel of the Mahayana, Hinayana, and the teachings on voidness common to both be turned in accordance with the wishes and aptitudes of beings. And for your information, Hinayana practice is the 3 lights and 5 elements. Mahayana is the use of what we are doing now, the deities. And the teaching on voidness is the accomplishment stage of deity yoga. I beseech the Buddhas not to pass into nirvana as long as samsara is not empty, but to look with compassion upon sentient beings who wallow in this ocean of pain and suffering. May whatever merit we have accumulated be the cause for the enlightenment of these beings. May I quickly become a good example, teacher, and leader of beings. Then the words of power to describe Chenrezig is his, first of all, inseparable from the Lama. I pray to you, this rainbow body deity, male form, as the Lama's body, speech, and mind. I pray to you as the Yidam Chenrezig, which means the training of voidness as the nature of the deity, because everything is that nature. I pray to you as perfect wisdom, Chenrezig means developing insight into states of pure awareness and higher intelligence. I pray to you the Bodhisattva of unconditional love, Chenrezig, as a way of being kind and considerate. Great compassionate Victor, please hold us with your compassion. We numberless sentient beings who wander in endless samsara. There is no other refuge than you for us in this situation. Be our protector. Please bestow the blessing to obtain omniscient Buddhahood, which is pure states of pure awareness. Then understanding karma is what we are liberating from. That all sentient beings through the force of anger become hell beings. May they be free from those realms of extreme pain and suffering. Om Mani Padme Hum, or Om Mani Padme Hum in Sanskrit, Indian. Accumulating negative karma by the force of greed or never being satisfied is the realm of the pretas, spirits, that are completely deprived of any food, water, or any experience they desire. Om Mani Padme Hum, may they be liberated from that terrible situation. That all animals have born through the force of stupidity, ignorance. May they be freed of that illness and stupidity. Om Mani Padme Hum. All human beings are born by the force of desire, needing it. And through that experience the suffering of excessive activity and constant frustration. May they all be born in the pure mind of the bliss of the deities, mandalas they watch in. Om Mani Padme Hum. Through the force of the misuse of power and the force of jealousy, humans are born in the realm of demigods and experience the suffering of fighting and quarreling. May that all be purified through the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. And finally, through accumulating negative karma, through the pride of force, or the force of arrogance, pride, and feelings of superiority are born in the realms of gods and goddesses, called the heavenly or celestial realm. And then know the suffering of impermanence, because in those situations there is no such thing as permanence. They experience change and falling, which is extremely painful for them. Om Mani Padme Hum. May they be liberated. And by this practice, wherever I'm born, may my deeds equal Chen Rezi and liberate these beings from the impure realm. By the sound of the six-syllable mantra. By praying to you, may we learn to discipline our mind by paying the greatest attention to the result of these karmic negative tendencies and diligently practice virtue and the Dharma for the benefit of all beings. Now we meditate. If you don't understand karma, all the meditation in the world is useless. You visualize in your heart center, this heart center of all sentient beings pervading space, a sphere of light, clear light. In the center of this, there rests the seed soluble tree. It is on a white 8-petal lotus. And on this lotus is a sun and moon seed. From this creation sound vibration tree, light goes out to all bodhisattvas and attracts them to me. We immediately appear as the noble all-seeing one, white with eye radiating five colored light, smiling and gazing with eyes of compassion. He has 4 arms, 3 eyes. The 2 lower arms are joined together, the upper hand holding a white lotus, and the upper right hand a crystal rosary. The lower 2 hands palms together, and offering this and its results to all sentient beings. He sits in the Vajra asana. The Buddha of boundless light, Amitabha, red in color, adorns his head. He is the essence of all the sources of refuge. Through this prayer and meditating this way, light radiates from the body of Chenrezig in all directions, purifying all negative karma and impure appearance and the deluded minds of sentient beings. Then the outer realm becomes a pure land called Dewa Chen, mind of bliss. As a mandala of sublime speech, and the pure mind of Chenrezig. We all become the indivisible union of this appearance, sound, and vivid intelligence with the state of highest awareness called voidness. As you recite this mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, or Om Mani Padme Hum in Sanskrit, Tibetan Sanskrit, do this as many times as you're able. The more you do it, you purify your negative tendency and karma of past lives. The more you do it, you purify through the mandala of all beings, being the deity, as their karmic situation. Let your mind be absorbed in its own essence, without making any distinction between subjects and objects. All of it is the mandala of the deity, and everyone in it is the deity doing exactly the same thing that you are. Then as you recite the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, the bodies of others and all appearance become the form of this sublime one. All sounds the melody of the 6-syllable mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. All thoughts the vastness of the great wisdom of voidness, like space itself. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 This is the mantra in Sanskrit, rotating around this letter Hri in the middle in your heart, in a sphere of clear light or 5-colored light. And each symbol has its own color, like jewels.
What are the colors again?
The first syllable, Om, is to purify the heavenly realms. These color codes change, but in starting the practice, that's white. Then the Ma purifies what are called the demigods, the war gods and goddesses. it's blue.
It's
Then
not
the
green.
knee is,
It's not green.
no, that changes with tantric practice
Oh, okay.
of awareness. That's what I said, these codes
Okay.
change. Then gold for the human condition, to purify desire. Then dark blue ma to purify spirit world, and animal world. Then red pretas, deprived spirits, and then black or dark, very dark blue to purify the hell realms, the abusive nature of those sentient beings. Then the Hree is the creation sound of infinite light being the nature of everything, and that all of this is purified just by that. That's the Buddha realm of Amitabha, in which you discern that ultimate awareness is infinitely more appropriate than your present state of dull awareness. Then you think all the beings in the mandala, starting with your own mother in front, as Shenrezi, are the deity, all the humans, 8 billion on this planet, all the animals in the ocean, on the land, Shenrezi, all the spirit world, filling boundless space, 4 realms, this deity. When you can create that in your mind, then the Hree is the symbol of that. And that causes this 6-syllable mantra to appear in your heart. The standing 6 syllables, each one a different color, whatever code you use, around the Hree, creation sound. So you're visualizing the Hree, the mantra, you as a deity, and all beings in space, your family, in Dewa Chen, already liberated by this mantra. That's absolutely true. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani The mantra rotates with the sound of your voice clockwise, the letters blasting outward. The Shri also, through your form as Chenrezig, like the sun, healing energy, that everyone in your mandala, same as you, equal to you. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Amani Padme Hum, 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 Amani Padme Hum. Amani Padme Hum, 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 Amani Padme Omani Bemi Om, Omani Bemi Om, Omani Bemi Om, Omani Bemi. Breathe. So you have 108 beads on your mala. When you've done 1,000 recitations of the mala, the free is the Guru bead. You've definitely entered into a state of infinite light with all sentient beings together with you in that state of awareness. There's nothing beyond that to accomplish in the human condition. And in your informal states, in your ordinary life, whatever kind of activity, you can apply this mandala of Chenrezig to all of them. Your father, your mother, your relatives, your friends, your lovers, your associates, those that hate you, those that would kill you, those that would harm you in any way, animals, humans, spirits, all are the deity, the rainbow body of pure awareness, based on loving kindness, compassion, power, and insight as the condition of all of this. And to give a taste of that, this part of the practice done 108,000 or 111,000 or 100,000, however you accomplish it. Each time you do the practice, at the end of the practice session, if it's just 21 recitation, 100 recitation, whatever, at the end of the practice session of the recitation, visualizing the mantra, have all the sentient beings in the universe, infinite in number, come into you as the deity Chenrezig. They're only made of light. So all that infinite light and light beings implodes into you. Then you, as Chenrezig, disappear into the 6 syllables of the mantra. Whether you can see them or not, these color-coded, all facing outward, the deity disappears in them. They're the cause of the deity. They're the cause of your voice saying the mantra. And the free is the cause of the entire world, you and everybody else, interconnected, discerning pure awareness. Like space. So you disappear those 6 syllables one by one into the free in the center. Red in color, in a sphere of 5-colored light. Then the free absorbs the 5-colored light sphere into it and shrinks to a tiny particle of light and blends with the light of boundless space. In this state of pure awareness, there is no meditation. Simply be present. open, clear of all judgment. No need to add anything or take anything away. And in this state of visited awareness, relax. Would you forward that? So I can see these. Just a little. Good. All deity yoga in Tibetan Buddhism is accomplished by these two stages of practice. The creation stage of doing the mantra visualization of the deity in all beings. That's called the mandala stage. The seats of Ohri is the creation of that. Then the accomplishment stage is the second stage of Mahamudra, where you're training the mind to be present with no judgment of the thoughts arising and not following the thoughts. Just let them arise, show themselves one by one or many at a time, and disappear. The past is gone, don't go there. Don't even think 1 second to the past. Don't attach 1 second to the future. Hasn't happened. Keep the mind present. If it strays, gently bring it back to the present moment. That's called the accomplishment stage. This produces pure awareness, which we call Mahamudra, the great view of space or voidness itself, the mother principle, the mother element. And we use the term mother because everything starts in the human condition with one's mother. And at one time or another, all sentient beings were actually your mother. Beginning of the slide. Now, when we move to the second stage of practice tonight, Abby, we're going to use the power aspect of compassion, power, and insight as the deity Mahakala. So the white Chenrezig changes into the protector. Now this practice can be accomplished only if one has done at least 100,000 recitations of the Chenrezig, or whatever number the Lama's guidance gives you, for it to be effective as a protector, not only from your own emotional tendencies, which cause so much trouble, your idea of a self, but also from outside. Depicted by the medicine Buddha with the problem of curses and hexes by sorcery, curses and hexes by people that practice religions with a totally negative or harmful motivation, which permeate all the religions of the planet, including some forms of Buddhism. And by sentient beings themselves, animals, humans, and spirits that can harm you, and the environment around you. Look at our global situation of the climate crisis and the infinite number of diseases, virus, bacteria, mold, etc. So when we move with the Chenrezig practice, liberation has to purify all of these harmful situations as they arise. And yes, there's only one reality in pure awareness. But in the world of animals, humans, and spirits, there's infinite reality. So this ultimate six-armed deity, white Mahakala, is based on dealing with those situations. And he appears on a lotus sun and moon disc, just like the Chenrezig. But in a blazing dome of fire like the sun. And many descriptions describing what this protection dome increases. But when one is using this deity, you don't need to project it to infinite sentient beings. Chenrezig, you as Chenrezig accomplished that. That's why you have to do 100,000 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum or more. Then the Lama gives the empowerment of the white Mahakala, which has 6 arms, which represent the 6 syllable mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. Standing on a lotus sun and moon disc means he's in the human condition, he's in human form. And he has 5 jewel skulls on his head. Now in front of me, in front of the deity, I place what are called kapalas or skull cups. When you make offerings using protector practice, in Tibet they use meat and alcohol to perpetuate the deities to bring the rain so they could grow their barley and survive the winter. And because they accomplished that, they didn't need to use any other harmful practices. And that's still true today. But each of these 6 arms, it's got the skull on it, which means cut off the idea of an ego. A Damaru to call the Dakinis, which are an infinite number of female Dakinis, come with this deity. Just like with any Lama. Padmasambhava is an example of that. He's the one that brought this to Tibet. But the 5 jewel crown is the 5 Buddha family. And then he has a trident in this hand, which means he rules the 3 realms, the higher realm, middle realm, and low realms of the animal, human, and spirit world. And he has a noose and a hook to bind unruly spirits. Five colored silks, but he's wearing also a lion skin shabtai. And he has an elephant skin and a human skin mantle covering his shoulders. Dressed in jewels and bells. And standing on 2 Ganesh, which are the Hindu tradition of wealth and good health. One under each foot. So that you don't get attached, egocentric. That's Hinduism. It's all about I, me, mine. But in Tibetan Buddhism, it's a we. So we use 2, one for self and everybody else. There's way more to this symbol of the 6-armed white Malakala. Is representing the Buddha of infinite light or any one of the 5 Buddha families with wrathful female deities and Manjushri, the wisdom of knowledge, so you know what you're doing. You must have the guidance of the Lama. This is the Lama. Just like Chenrezig, inseparable. The seed syllable comes from the initiation of your body, speech, and mind as the empowerment of using the 5 elements together with the 5 Buddha families, 5 spheres of awareness, ultimate awareness. Then you receive the empowerment of the Lama's body, speech, and mind for this practice. This is a blessing. This is not to do the deity as a practice to you have accomplished the Chenrezi so that this will be effective to whatever painful situations you are experiencing. And the home in the empowerment becomes the seed level of the deity. And this home is dark blue or black and has the mantra of the deity surrounding it, which I will teach you that once you receive the empowerment, sit with your back straight. Visualize the Lama in front. White light from the Lama's forehead to your forehead with the sound Om is the permission to practice the deity yoga instructed by the Lama. Be the deity. Chenrezi, White Mahakala, Tara, Halden Lama. There are 1,000 of these. Then red light from the Lama's throat is the permission to use the mantras with the guidance of the Lama, according to the instruction of the effectiveness of the being the deity with the deity's mantras. And there are many. That red light strikes into your throat chakra with the sound Ah. So now you have the Om in your head, the Ah in your throat. Then blue light, dark blue light from the Lama's throat to your throat enters your heart chakra to get the power, accomplishment, the effect of compassion, power, and insight working together with whom. And whom is the medicine Buddha's all-pervasive, even vibration sound. Whom. All the deities have whom. And then they have their special mantra and special seed salvo. Again, according to the guidance of the teacher. When you can see these 3 lights from the Lama, root Lama's 3 places coming into you, then the Om, Ah, and Hum are your body, speech, and mind, empowered to do the practice, receive the blessings. Then you visualize the Lama melts into you and you become the deity. In this case, 6-armed Mahakala. Then light goes out from the 3 lights to the 3 places of all Lamas, deities, and protectors in Dakini. They are attracted into your mandala, into your visualization. And this visualization, with that empowerment, clears the 6 realms of samsara on the basis of the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. In the white Om, the red Ah, and the blue Hum all come together in the heart chakra, and you become the 6-armed white Mahakala. The mantra appears because it clears the 6 realms of sentient beings who are infinite in number. All the animals, all the humans and spirits. Cleared of all emotional judgmental defects. And the mantra is Om Mama Guru Mahakala Parinisa Siddhi Za. Om Mama Guru, Mahakala, Aranisa, Siddhiza.
Go home, okay?
To start with.
Oh,
Now, Za is the accomplishment of good health and wealth because of the Dakinis, which is white Mahakala has an infinite number of female, powerful wisdom deities around him, filling the world around him. So wherever you project this white Mahakala as you to others, that the Dakinis are taking care of the busyness, of the purification, pacifying, enriching, attracting, destroying, creating, and liberating. Mahakala is dancing on the two Ganeshi, blazing with the power of the sun's radiation to clear away all obstacles, darkness. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. Now you say this mantra 21 times. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. Aranisa is the retinue of infinite number of Dakinis, white or 5 colors, your choice, filling the sky of your mind. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. 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 Om. Hey. Now from this point on, you add the home pay to the mantra. And then from this point on, if you have the skull cups in front of the deity, one is pointed to the deity, inside is clear liquid of awareness. The other one is pointed away from the deity, is the blood offering to all of the spirit world. Hell realms, deprived spirits, demigod spirits, and the celestial realm. And it's colored red inside. There's much more to this, but if you have these two skull cups, these are placed in front of the shrine for protective deity practice. And the deity Chenrezi is usually in front of this Mahakala. Then you take the lids off, then the offerings goes to all of the 1,000 deities as Chenrezi, and the blood offering goes to all the spirit world. Animal, human, spirit world. And they are sometimes pictured in the mandala on the left and right of the deity. Om Lama Guru Mahakala, Aranisa Siddhiza. Om Pe. Om Lama Guru Mahakala. Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Hung is infinite healing. K means cut all ego fixation. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Kala Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Now this is used to call the Dakini. That's this bell with the Vajra sunk into the top of it. 5 Buddha families, 5 elements, pure awareness, connecting. Om Mama Guru Maka. Another way of calling the Dakinis is with the Damaru, which is more effective. And the Lamas will train you on how to use that when they give you the loom and the tree to go with the empowerment. The loom is the sound of special mantras that you use, and the tree is the how to do it, how to set up, make torment, set up the shrine, all the special aspects of these practices. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Siddhi Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Za Om Pe. Om Mama Guru Maka Hari Nisa Za Om Pe Om Mama Gu Aga Hari Nisa Sedi Za Om Pe. To move into the accomplishment state of Mahakala, all sentient beings are cleared of the 5 emotional defects: attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, stupidity, which includes bewilderment, ignorance, and delusion. Liberated in this way, Mahakala disappears into the mantra, rotating around the dark blue or black or blazing white or silver home, whatever color the deity is represented. And it, in a 5-colored sphere of light, expands to the totality of space. Rest in that dimension of being. Totally present, clear, open, naked, in vivid awareness. Whatever arises, it is the essence of all of that. When we make the dedication prayer from the text of the Chenrezi, that everything that we perform tonight, these virtuous activities, are applied to infinite sentient beings throughout space, none left out, to their benefit, that they maintain the highest states of awareness and Buddhahood. From the great all good Dorje Chong down to my kind Root Lama, whatever prayers have been made for the benefit of beings, may they all become fulfilled. By this merit, we all become omniscient. And from this attainment, having defeated evil faults through endless storms of birth, old age, sickness, and death, may we liberate all these beings from the sufferings of the three worlds. I dedicate all this merit that I may follow in the footsteps of the heroic Manjushri, who knows the nature of everything, and that of the highest Lama Guru, Kunto Zangpo. By this virtue, may all beings perfect the accumulations of merit and wisdom. And arising from this merit and wisdom, may they all obtain the two sacred bodies of bliss and awareness. And by the blessings of these being the three bodies of the Buddha, who is pleased by our practice, by blessings of the truth of the Dharma itself being unchanging, and by the blessings of the wishes of the Sangha being unwavering, may this dedication and all auspicious prayers be fulfilled. Bewadi Nerduda, Chagya Chempo Drugirne, Jowa Chengi Malupa, Dei Sala Goparsho, Sanjay Kusum Nimpai Chemadam, Choni Maker Nimpai Chemadam, Kendu Meche Dumpai Chemaki, Jitar Goma Mongram Jupar Show. By this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, may it quickly establish all beings without a single exception in that state of awareness. By the blessing of the three bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the truth of the Dharma itself being unchanging, and by the wishes of us, the Sangha, being unwavering, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. May all beings be happy, free of pain and suffering, established in bliss and equanimity. What is that? May all beings have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, all their wishes be fulfilled, especially all of you lovely Braja brothers and sisters that performed with us tonight. Aloha and Tashi Dere.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Lama Tashi and Abby.
Good night.
Good night and aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Be well, be happy, good dreams.